Hello, and welcome back to Super English Talks. This is the channel where we help you improve your English while also learning something useful for your real life. I am really happy that you are here with me today. Maybe you are listening at home. Maybe you are outside, walking in the park or on the street. Or maybe you are at work or school and you are taking a short break. Wherever you are, thank you for joining me. Your time is important, and I hope this episode will give you something helpful, something for your English, and also something for your life. Today's topic. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that I think many people experience every single day. The topic is how to deal with difficult people. When I say difficult people, maybe someone comes to your mind. It could be a coworker at your job. It could be a classmate in your school. It could even be a friend or a family member. Difficult people can be many types. Maybe they always complain. Maybe they speak in a rude or unkind way. Maybe they make you feel angry. Maybe they confuse you. Or maybe they make you feel tired, like they take away all your energy. Yes, all of us have people like this in our lives. And it is not easy to deal with them, especially when we want to stay calm, patient, and kind. Why is this important? Learning how to deal with difficult people is a very useful life skill. Why? Because in life we meet all kinds of people. Some people are friendly. Some people are quiet. And yes, some people are difficult. But we cannot always avoid them. We may need to work with them. We may need to study with them. And sometimes, we may even have to live with them. So instead of always getting angry, or instead of running away, it is better to learn how to stay strong, speak clearly, and keep our peace, even when other people try to take it away. And remember, this is not only about them. It is also about us. It is about how we protect ourselves, how we take care of our feelings, and how we stay calm inside. What we will learn in this episode. In today's episode, I will help you understand who difficult people are, learn why they act the way they do, notice how they affect us, and most importantly, I will give you some simple and smart ways to deal with them without losing your cool. You will also learn some very easy tips, some helpful sentences you can use in real conversations, and one short real-life story that will make everything clearer. I will speak slowly and clearly so you can practice both listening and speaking while you learn these life skills. This podcast is made just for you, English learners, who want to practice English in a real and meaningful way. So please relax. Listen carefully. And if you want to practice speaking, you can repeat some parts out loud with me. Also, don't forget to like, follow, and share Super English Talks with your friends or classmates if you enjoy this episode. It really helps me keep making more useful content for you. Are you ready? Are you ready to learn how to deal with difficult people and feel more confident in your daily life? Great. Let's get started. What does difficult people mean? Let's begin by understanding what we really mean when we say difficult people. This is a common phrase in English. You have probably heard it before. But what does it actually mean? A difficult person is someone who is hard to talk to, hard to work with, or hard to get along with. When you are with them, they may make you feel stressed, tired, angry, or uncomfortable. Sometimes after you finish talking to them, you feel upset or unhappy, and sometimes you don't even know why you feel that way. It is also important to remember, not everyone who disagrees with you is a difficult person. It is normal to have different ideas or opinions. That is part of life. But a difficult person is someone who often creates problems or negative feelings for others. They may not listen well. They may talk in a rude or angry voice. They may always want to be right, and they don't care about how other people feel. That is what we mean when we say difficult people. Different types of difficult people. Sometimes, difficult people are loud and mean. Other times, they may be quiet, but their behavior still makes the situation uncomfortable. Let me give you a few simple and clear examples so you can understand better. Example 1. The complainer. Imagine you have a coworker who always complains every single day. No matter what happens, this person always finds something wrong. If the weather is sunny and warm, they say, "It's too hot." If it rains, they say, "The day is ruined." If you finish a task quickly, instead of saying, "Good job," they say, "It's not perfect." This person is difficult because they bring negative energy into the room. Their words and attitude make other people feel bad, tired, or discouraged. Example 2. The rude classmate. Now think about a classmate who is rude. They interrupt others while they are speaking. They laugh at people's mistakes. They don't say please or thank you. They always speak in a loud, harsh voice. Talking to them makes you feel nervous or uncomfortable. This is another kind of difficult person. Example 3. The controlling person. Or maybe you know someone who always wants control. They never listen to your ideas. They want to make all the decisions. They act like they are the boss, even when they are not. If something goes wrong, they blame other people. If something goes right, they take all the credit. This kind of person makes group work and conversations very stressful and unpleasant. Example 4. The time disrespecter. There are also people who do not respect your time or your space. For example, they always arrive late. They keep talking when you clearly want to leave. They call you too often or send too many messages. They ask very personal questions when you don't want to answer. Even if they don't mean to be rude, their behavior still feels difficult and uncomfortable. Example 5. The negative or dramatic person. And then there are people who are always negative or dramatic. If you share good news, they don't celebrate with you. Instead, they say things like, "Don't be too happy. Something bad will happen soon." If a small problem happens, they react like it's a big disaster. Spending time with this type of person feels heavy, stressful, and draining. What all these people have in common? As you can see, difficult people come in many forms. Some are loud and angry. Some are quiet but cold. Some are pushy and controlling. Some always act like the victim. But they all have something in common. They make communication harder. They make relationships more stressful. They don't make you feel safe, respected, or heard. Important to remember. Now, here's something very important to remember. Being a difficult person does not always mean they are bad. Maybe they are going through a hard time. Maybe they feel stressed, tired, or confused. Maybe nobody ever taught them how to communicate in a kind and respectful way. We don't always know their story. We don't always know what is happening in their life. But even if we try to understand them, it does not mean we have to accept bad behavior.
We can still protect ourselves.
We can still learn to deal with them in smart and peaceful ways. The real meaning of difficult people. So when we talk about difficult people in this podcast, we don't mean people who are simply different from us. Having different ideas, opinions, or habits is normal. That's part of life. When we say difficult people, we mean those who often make things harder for others through their actions, their words, or their attitude. And the truth is, most of us, at some point in life, will have to deal with someone like this. That is why it is so important to learn how to respond not with anger, but with calm, with strength, and with smart communication. Why are people difficult? In the first part of this episode, we talked about what difficult people are and how they behave. Now, let's move to the next important question. Why do people act in a difficult way? What is happening inside them? Why do they complain, argue, or speak in a rude way? Why do they behave in ways that hurt others? Understanding this is very helpful. When we understand the reason behind their behavior, we don't feel so angry or confused. We can deal with them in a smarter and calmer way. And remember this, people are not born difficult. There is always some reason behind their behavior. That reason does not make their actions okay, but it does help us see the bigger picture. Reason 1, stress. One of the most common reasons is stress. Many people are under a lot of pressure in their daily lives. They may have problems at work. They may have conflicts in their family. They may be worried about money. They may not be sleeping well. Or they may even have health problems. When people feel stressed, they often become angry, impatient, or short-tempered. They don't smile much. They talk in a hard or loud voice. Sometimes they start arguments over small, unimportant things. So when someone acts in a difficult way, sometimes it's not about you at all. It's about something stressful happening in their own life. Reason 2. Personal problems from the past. Another reason is personal problems or past pain. Some people carry heavy experiences from their childhood or their past. Maybe they grew up in a family where people shouted all the time. Maybe someone hurt them before, so now they don't trust others. Maybe they feel sad, lonely, or afraid. Instead of asking for help, these people may push others away. They may act cold, unfriendly, or even mean. This is often their way of protecting themselves, even though it's not a healthy way. Reason 3. Insecurity. A third reason is insecurity. Insecure people don't feel good about themselves. They don't feel smart enough, strong enough, or successful enough, even if they never say it out loud. So what do? They try to make other people feel small. They interrupt when others are speaking. They laugh at other people's mistakes.
They try to control everything.
From the outside, it may look like they are confident and powerful. But in reality, it's the opposite. They feel weak inside, and they try to hide it by acting strong on the outside. Reason 4. Poor communication skills. Another reason is poor communication skills. Some people never learned how to speak in a kind and respectful way. Maybe in their family people shouted instead of listening. Maybe nobody taught them how to express their feelings in a healthy way. So what happens? They get angry quickly. They use the wrong words without thinking. They don't know how to listen. These people may not want to hurt others, but their way of speaking creates problems. It doesn't make them bad people, but it does make conversations harder. Reason 5. Unhappiness or emptiness. Sometimes people are difficult because they feel unhappy or empty inside. They may feel jealous when others are doing well. They may feel ignored, like nobody listens to them. They may feel like their life has no meaning or purpose. So what do? They complain all the time. They act negative. They look for attention, but they don't know a healthy way to get it. A very important reminder. Now here is something very important to remember. When someone acts in a difficult way, it is not always personal. That means they are not rude because of you. They are not angry because of you. Usually, they are angry or rude because of something inside themselves. But what do we usually think? We think, did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Why are they treating me this way? That is normal, but most of the time, it is not about you.
The reality.
The truth is, difficult people are everywhere. No matter where you live, where you work, or where you study, you will meet someone who is hard to talk to. And here's another truth. You cannot change them. You cannot make them different. But what you can do is learn how to respond in a better way. That is what we will practice in the next part of this episode. How difficult people affect us. Now that we understand why people are difficult, let's talk about something just as important. How difficult people affect us. When someone is rude, negative, or controlling, it doesn't only make the situation hard. It also affects our feelings, our energy, and sometimes even our whole day. Think about this. Have you ever talked to someone and then felt upset afterward? Maybe they didn't really listen to you. Maybe they got angry for no reason. Maybe they said something that made you feel small or unimportant. And after that conversation, you couldn't stop thinking about it. You felt angry or sad, or maybe just very tired. Yes, that is the power of difficult people. They don't just speak. Their words and actions go inside us. We don't only hear them with our ears. We feel them in our hearts and minds. Common feelings we experience. Let's look at some of the most common feelings we experience when we deal with difficult people. 1. Anger. When someone speaks in a rude way or doesn't respect us, it is normal to feel angry. Your heart starts to beat faster. Your face feels hot. You want to shout back or maybe just walk away quickly. You want to answer, but you're not sure if you'll say the right thing. And even after the conversation is over, the anger sometimes stays inside you. You keep thinking about what happened. You think about what you wanted to say, but didn't. This can make you upset for hours, or even for the whole day. 2. Frustration. Another very common feeling is frustration. Frustration happens when you try hard, but the other person just doesn't listen. Or when you do your best, but the person still complains. It feels like nothing you do is good enough. You feel stuck, like there's no way to fix the problem. You may want to give up. This kind of feeling can take away your motivation and confidence. 3. Tiredness. Many people also feel tired after spending time with someone difficult. Not just physically tired, but emotionally tired. Some people take a lot of your energy. After just a short conversation, you feel like you need to rest. You feel heavy inside. This is not because you ran or worked hard. It's because during the conversation, you had to protect your feelings the whole time. This emotional tiredness can even affect your sleep, your mood, and your peace of mind. 4. Sadness or hurt. Some difficult people make us feel sad or hurt. Maybe they ignore us. Maybe they say unkind or unfair things. Maybe they make us feel like we are not good enough. Even if we know deep down that it's not true, their words can still hurt. And when we feel hurt, sometimes we stop talking. We close ourselves. We feel small, quiet, and alone. This can be especially painful if the difficult person is someone close to us, like a family member or a friend. 5. Self-doubt. Another common result is self-doubt. After talking with a difficult person, you may start asking yourself questions like, did I do something wrong? Am I the problem here? This kind of thinking makes you feel confused and unsure about yourself. It's easy to blame yourself, even when the other person is clearly being unfair. Why this matters. So, as you can see, difficult people don't just affect the conversation. They affect our emotions, our confidence, and even our health. That is why it is so important to protect our own peace. Because if we don't, difficult people can steal our energy, our joy, and our focus. How to deal with difficult people. Now that we understand what difficult people are, why they behave the way they do, and how they affect us, it's time for the most important part, how to deal with them in a smart and peaceful way. You don't need to fight. You don't need to change who you are. You just need to learn some simple strategies that will help you stay calm, protect your energy, and respond with confidence. These tips are not only useful for difficult situations, they can also help you feel more peaceful and confident in your everyday life. Let's begin.
Tip 1. Stay calm.
When someone is rude or says something unkind, your first feeling may be to react quickly. You might want to shout, argue, or walk away fast. But here's the truth. Reacting too fast usually makes the situation worse. Instead, try this.
Take a deep breath.
Pause before answering.
Count to 5 in your head if you need to.
Tell yourself, I am calm. I don't need to fight. This small action gives your brain a moment to clear. It stops you from saying something you might regret later. When you stay calm, you are the one in control, not the difficult person.
Tip 2. Listen carefully.
Sometimes difficult people behave badly because they feel unheard. Maybe they just want someone to listen, even if they express it in a negative way. So instead of interrupting or getting angry, try listening first. You can say short, calm sentences like, I understand. I hear what you're saying. This doesn't mean you agree with them. It simply shows that you're willing to hear their side. Often, when people feel heard, they become less angry and more open to calm conversation. Tip 3. Use kind but clear words. Being kind does not mean being weak. You can be polite and still express how you feel. Use calm and simple language. For example, I don't feel comfortable when you speak to me like that. Let's talk about this later, when we are both calm. Notice, there's no shouting, no rude words. Just clear, respectful communication. In fact, soft and respectful words often work better than angry ones. People may even be surprised when you stay polite and respectful, even when they are not. And that surprise can change the whole mood of the conversation. Tip 4. Set boundaries. Setting boundaries means protecting your space, your time, and your peace. You do not have to say yes to everything. You do not have to accept behavior that makes you uncomfortable. For example, if someone always asks for your help but never thanks you, it's okay to say, I'm sorry, but I can't help today. If someone always calls you late at night when you're trying to rest, you can say, please call me earlier next time. Remember, setting boundaries is not rude. It is healthy. It teaches people what is okay and what is not okay for you. Tip 5. Don't take it personally. This is a tip many people forget. Difficult people are often unhappy, stressed, or angry for reasons that have nothing to do with you. But their words can still hurt, especially if you are kind or sensitive. That's why you must remind yourself,
This is not about me.
this is about them. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they don't know how to express their feelings. Maybe they're carrying problems you cannot see. Whatever the reason, don't let their mood become your mood. You can listen, but you don't have to carry their pain. Tip 6. Try to understand. Sometimes trying to understand the other person can help. You can ask a simple question like, why are you upset? This shows that you care and that you want to listen. When you ask, you might discover that the person is sad, stressed, or angry for a reason you didn't know before. This is called empathy. It means you try to feel a little of what they feel without letting it hurt you. But remember, empathy does not mean accepting bad behavior. If someone is being very rude or aggressive, you do not have to continue the conversation. Stay safe first. Tip 7. Use I statements. The way we speak makes a big difference. Instead of blaming the other person with words like, you always make me angry, try using an I statement such as, I feel upset when you speak loudly. This small change can make a big difference. When you use I statements, the other person hears your feelings. They do not feel blamed or attacked. The conversation stays calmer and more respectful. So practice saying, I feel, instead of you always. It's a small change in words, but it's a big change in how people listen. Tip 8. Walk away if needed. Yes, sometimes the best answer is to say nothing and simply leave. Not every argument needs your reply. Not every rude comment deserves your attention. If someone is yelling or making you feel unsafe, you have the right to leave. You can calmly say, I don't want to continue this conversation right now. and then walk away. This is not weakness. It is strength. It shows that you respect yourself enough not to stay in a toxic situation. Quick review of all the tips. Let's quickly repeat these 8 simple but powerful tips. Stay calm. Take a deep breath before you speak. Listen carefully. Sometimes people just want to feel heard. Use kind but clear words. Speak honestly but gently. Set boundaries. Protect your time, energy, and peace. Don't take it personally. Their behavior is about them, not you. Try to understand. Ask why. Show empathy safely. Use I statements. Express your feelings without blaming. Walk away if needed. It's okay to leave the conversation. Useful sentences to use with difficult people. The tips we learned are very helpful, but sometimes we also need actual words we can use in real life. Because in a difficult moment, it can be hard to know what to say. Your mind feels stressed, your heart beats faster, and sometimes the right words don't come. That's why it's useful to learn and practice some simple, polite, and powerful English sentences. These sentences will help you. Speak clearly. Protect your peace. Keep the conversation respectful. Remember, these sentences are not magic. They will not suddenly change the other person, but they will help you feel calmer, stronger, and more in control. And the best part? They are short, easy to remember, and easy to use. So, let's practice together. Sentence 1. I understand how you feel. This is a kind and respectful way to show the other person that you are listening. Many difficult people behave badly because they feel unheard. When you say this, you don't have to agree with them. You are simply showing that you are listening. For example, if your boss is stressed and shouting, you can say calmly, I understand how you feel. If a friend is upset and speaking in a rude tone, you can say, I understand how you feel. This simple sentence can calm people down and reduce tension. Let's practice together. Say it slowly. I understand how you feel. One more time. I understand how you feel. Good. Practice it until it feels natural. Sentence 2. Can we talk about this later? Sometimes people are too angry or too emotional, and the best solution is to pause the conversation. This sentence is a polite way to stop the discussion for now. For example, if a classmate is angry about a project and keeps complaining, you can say, Can we talk about this later? If a family member is upset during dinner, you can say, Can we talk about this later? This shows that you are not running away. You just want to wait until both of you are calmer. Practice with me. Say, Can we talk about this later? And again, Can we talk about this later? It's polite, short, and powerful. Sentence 3. I don't feel comfortable with this. This is a boundary sentence. It is polite, but it is also strong. It tells the other person clearly that something is not okay for you. For example, if someone is asking you too many personal questions, you can say, I don't feel comfortable with this. If a colleague speaks to you in a disrespectful way, you can say, I don't feel comfortable with this. You don't have to explain everything. You don't have to argue. This one sentence is enough to protect yourself. Let's practice. Say, I don't feel comfortable with this. And again, a little stronger. I don't feel comfortable with this. Well done. Sentence 4. Let's stay calm and talk nicely. This sentence is a gentle reminder. When the conversation is getting tense or angry, you can use this line to bring peace back. For example, if two classmates are arguing loudly, you can say, Let's stay calm and talk nicely. If a family member starts shouting, you can say, Let's stay calm and talk nicely. It is not aggressive. It is kind. It shows that you want respect in the conversation.
Practice with me.
Say, let's stay calm and talk nicely. One more time. Let's stay calm and talk nicely. Good. Quick review. So, we learned 4 powerful and polite sentences today. Let's say them all together. I understand how you feel. Can we talk about this later? I don't feel comfortable with this. Let's stay calm and talk nicely. These sentences are short, simple, and easy to remember. But they're also strong enough to help you in many real-life situations. You don't need a lot of words to protect yourself. Just a few calm, respectful, and confident sentences can make a big difference. Common types of difficult people. You're doing great so far. Remember, the more you repeat these tips and sentences, the easier they will become. You can practice them at home, in front of a mirror, or even by writing them down in a notebook. That way, when you really need them in a difficult situation, the words will come naturally. Now, let's look at another important part of our lesson: the types of difficult people. Not all difficult people behave in the same way. Some complain, some get angry, some stay silent, and some act like they know everything. If you can recognize these types, you'll be able to choose the best way to respond. Let me share with you 4 common types of difficult people you might meet in daily life. 1. The complainer. The complainer is a person who always focuses on the negative side of things. They can find a problem in almost everything. For example, at work, they may say, "This task is too hard." At home, they may say, "Nothing ever goes right." Even in small things like weather, traffic, or food, they always complain. Complaining too much can make other people feel tired or sad. It can also create a negative atmosphere because it feels like there is no solution. How to deal with them? Stay calm and listen politely, but don't agree with every complaint. Try to change the subject to something positive. You can also gently suggest solutions like, "I see your point. Maybe we can try this instead." 2. The angry person. This type of person shows their emotions very strongly. They may raise their voice, use harsh words, or get upset very quickly. For example, a friend who yells when things don't go their way. A family member who loses patience easily and gets angry over small issues. Being around angry people can feel uncomfortable or even scary. How to deal with them? Stay calm and do not shout back. Speak slowly and softly. Use calming phrases like, "Let's stay calm and talk nicely." If the person is too angry, give them space and wait until they cool down. 3. The silent type. This person does not talk much. They may avoid eye contact, stay quiet in group conversations, or refuse to answer questions. For example, a classmate who never speaks during group work. A coworker who ignores your greeting or says very little. Silence can be confusing because you don't know what the person is really thinking or feeling. It can make you feel like they don't like you or don't want to cooperate. How to deal with them? Be patient and don't push them too much. Ask gentle, simple questions such as, "Is everything okay? Would you like to share your ideas?" Sometimes silence means shyness or self-protection, not anger. 4. The know-it-all. This type of person acts like they always have the right answer. They may correct others often, interrupt when people are speaking, or say things like, "Actually, that's wrong," even when it's not true. Know-it-alls can make conversations stressful because they don't like to listen and want to control the discussion. How to deal with them? Stay polite and avoid arguing too much. A good response is to say, "That's an interesting idea. Let's agree to disagree." This way, you protect yourself without starting a fight. Quick review. So, we learned about 4 types of difficult people. The complainer, always negative. The angry person, shows strong emotions. The silent type, doesn't talk or share feelings. The know-it-all, always wants to be right. When you can recognize these types, you will know which strategies and sentences to use. It's like having a map. When you know where you are, you know which road to take. How to stay calm and positive. Dealing with difficult people can feel hard, but one of the most powerful skills you can learn is how to stay calm and positive. When you stay calm, you protect yourself, you think clearly, and you respond in a smart way. But when you lose your calm, it's easy to say or do things that you may regret later. So, why is calmness so important? Let's think about it step by step. First, staying calm helps you stay in control. If someone is rude or angry and you stay calm, you do not give them the power to upset you. You are the one in control of your feelings and actions, not them. Second, calmness helps you listen better. When you are calm, you can hear what the other person is really saying and even notice their feelings behind the words. This gives you the chance to solve problems in a peaceful way instead of making them bigger. Third, staying calm protects your health. When you get angry or stressed, your heart beats faster, your muscles feel tight, and your body becomes tired. Over time, too much stress can make you feel weak or even sick. But when you stay calm, your body stays relaxed and your mind stays clear. So you see, being calm is not only good for your conversations, but also for your heart, your body, and your peace of mind. Simple tips to stay calm. Now let's talk about some easy things you can do when you feel upset or stressed by a difficult person. 1. Breathe slowly and deeply. When someone makes you upset, stop for a moment. Take a slow breath in through your nose and count to 4. Then breathe out slowly through your mouth and count to 4 again. Repeat this a few times. This simple exercise tells your brain, it's okay. I am safe. I can handle this. 2. Pause before you respond. When someone says something rude, your first reaction might be to shout or argue. But if you pause, even for just a few seconds, you give yourself time to think. Ask yourself, what is the best thing to say right now? This short pause can stop a small problem from becoming a big fight. 3. Think positive thoughts. Your mind is very powerful. If you think negative thoughts, you feel more upset. But if you think positive thoughts, you feel stronger. You can remind yourself, I can handle this. This will pass. I choose peace. These simple thoughts can change your feelings from angry or scared to calm and confident. Practice sentences to stay calm. Now let's practice together. Here are some short, simple sentences you can say when you feel upset. You can repeat after me, slowly and clearly. I am calm. I can stay peaceful.
Take a deep breath.
Let's talk kindly. I choose to stay calm. You can practice these alone, with a friend, or even in front of a mirror. The more you say them, the more natural they will become. One day, when you face a difficult person, these words will come to your mind automatically. Remember, staying calm is not always easy, and that's okay. It takes practice, just like learning a new language or a new skill. Every time you try, you get a little better. And the more you practice, the stronger you become. This skill will help you everywhere, in your family, at school, at work, and with friends. Calmness gives you power, peace, and confidence. What not to do. When you deal with difficult people, it's just as important to know what not to do as it is to know what to do. Sometimes, when someone is rude or angry, we want to react quickly. Maybe we want to shout back, argue, or walk away without saying anything. But usually, these actions make the situation worse, not better. Let's talk about some common mistakes and why they are not helpful. 1. Don't shout back. When someone raises their voice, it feels natural to raise yours too. But shouting does not solve problems. Instead, it creates a fight where both people feel more upset. Imagine this short conversation. Person A, "This is your fault." Shouting. Person B, "No, it's your fault." Shouting louder. What happens? The anger grows and nobody listens. So remember, when someone shouts, lower your voice instead of raising it. A soft, calm tone can help reduce tension. 2. Don't use hurtful words. Sometimes when we are angry, we say things like, "You're stupid," or "You always make mistakes." These words may feel powerful in the moment, but they usually make the other person feel attacked. And when people feel attacked, they defend themselves by becoming even more difficult. Instead of blaming, use calm and respectful phrases like, "I feel upset when this happens," or "Can we find a solution?" 3. Don't ignore completely. Walking away or staying silent can sometimes be helpful if you need space to calm down. But ignoring the person all the time can make them feel disrespected. It may sound like, "You don't care about me," or "You're not listening." If you need time, it's better to say politely, "Can we talk about this later?" This way, you show respect while still protecting your peace. 4. Don't take everything personally. Many times, when someone is difficult, it's not really about you. They may be stressed, tired, or upset about something else. If you take every word personally, you will feel hurt and angry very quickly. Try reminding yourself, "This is not about me. They are having a hard time." This helps you stay calm and not let their mood control yours. 5. Don't try to win the fight. Some people argue because they want to win. But conversations are not competitions. If you try to win, the other person feels like they must fight harder. Instead, focus on finding peace or solutions, not victory. Remember, winning the fight is not as important as protecting your peace. Quick review. So, when dealing with difficult people,
Don't shout back.
don't use hurtful words. Don't ignore completely. Don't take everything personally. Don't try to win. Avoiding these mistakes will help you keep control and make the situation easier to handle. A real-life example. Let me share a short story about a woman named Lisa. Lisa works in an office. One day, her coworker Mark was very upset because a project did not go well. He walked up to Lisa's desk and said in a loud voice, "This is all your fault. You never finish things on time." At that moment, Lisa felt nervous and a little angry. She wanted to shout back and say, "That's not true." But she remembered the tips we talked about. First, Lisa took a deep breath. She told herself quietly, "Stay calm. Don't shout." Then she spoke softly and said, "I understand you are upset, Mark. Let's stay calm and talk kindly." Mark was still angry and said, "No, you always make mistakes." Lisa did not blame him back. Instead, she used an I statement. She said, "I feel upset when you say I always make mistakes. Can we look at the project together and find a solution?" Hearing her calm and polite words, Mark started to relax. His voice became softer. He said, "Okay, maybe we can fix it together." In the end, Lisa and Mark worked on the project and solved the problem. Lisa stayed calm, used polite phrases, and did not take his anger personally. This helped turn a difficult moment into a respectful conversation. Why this story matters. Lisa's example shows us that staying calm can protect your feelings. Using polite phrases can reduce anger. I statements can stop blame and open the door to solutions. You don't have to fight back to be strong. Calmness is strength. Sarah's story, a simple and true example. Now, let me tell you a simple but powerful story. This is a true example about a woman named Sarah. Sarah was a kind and friendly person. She worked in an office, and most of the people in her office were nice and respectful. She enjoyed her work and liked helping others. But there was one person at her job who was very difficult. His name was James. James was not easy to work with. He often spoke in a rude voice. He complained almost every day. He never said hello in the morning. He made negative comments about other people's work. And sometimes in meetings, he interrupted Sarah and made her feel small in front of other people. At first, Sarah didn't know how to handle this. After meetings with James, she often felt tired, sad, and even frustrated. She began to doubt herself. She asked in her mind, "Did I do something wrong? Why does James always treat me like this?" She wanted to tell him how she felt, but she was afraid it would start a fight. She didn't want to create more problems. So she decided to try a better way. So Sarah paused. She didn't speak right away. She breathed in slowly. Then, in a soft and respectful voice, she said, "I understand how you feel, but I don't feel comfortable when you speak to me like this." She spoke with kindness. She didn't shout. She didn't insult him. She didn't attack him. She was calm, clear, and respectful. James was surprised. No one had ever spoken to him like that before. He didn't know what to say. He didn't continue being rude in that moment. A few days later, in another meeting, James started complaining again. This time, Sarah stayed calm.
She didn't argue.
She simply said, "Can we talk about this later?" And then she continued her work. She didn't allow his negative energy to change her mood. Over time, something very interesting happened.
James slowly began to change.
He didn't interrupt Sarah as much. He still complained sometimes, but he wasn't as aggressive as before. One morning, he even said good morning to Sarah, something he had never done before. Why did this happen? Maybe because Sarah showed him a different way. She stayed calm, she used polite words, and she didn't fight back. She created a space of peace, and that gave James an example of better communication. But Sarah also set boundaries. She protected her time and energy. When she needed to focus, she closed her office door. Sometimes she wore her headphones so she could work without distractions. And on days when James was in a very bad mood, she simply walked away. She didn't try to fix him. She didn't try to control him. She just protected her peace. This story teaches us something very important. You don't have to shout to be strong. You don't have to fight to be respected. When you stay calm, when you speak clearly, and when you use kind words, you protect yourself. You also create a chance for the other person to change. So, next time you meet someone who is difficult, remember Sarah's story. Remember the tips you learned. Take a deep breath, stay calm, and remind yourself, I am in control of my response. Reflection. Now, let's take a moment to think about everything we learned in this episode. Dealing with difficult people is not always easy. Sometimes it feels impossible.
But it is possible when you
stay calm. Use polite and simple phrases. Avoid shouting, blaming, or ignoring rudely. Protect your feelings and set healthy boundaries. You are learning a new skill, and just like any skill, it takes practice. The more you practice, the better you will become. So keep practicing. Keep reminding yourself, I choose to stay calm. I choose peace. You're doing great. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to win every argument. What you need is patience. What you need is calm thinking. What you need is the belief that you can handle the situation in a better way. At the beginning of this episode, we asked an important question. Why are people difficult? We discovered that many times their behavior has nothing to do with us. They might be stressed. They might be tired. They might be insecure or struggling with personal problems. Sometimes people act badly simply because they never learned how to express their feelings in a healthy way. So, when someone is rude or negative, it doesn't always mean they are trying to hurt you. Understanding this can help you stay calm. It can help you not take things personally. Then we talked about how difficult people affect us. Their behavior can make us feel angry, sad, or frustrated. Maybe you've walked away from a conversation and asked yourself, why do I feel so bad? That heavy feeling is the emotional weight of dealing with someone unkind. But knowing this is helpful. It reminds us to protect our peace. It reminds us not to let others steal our energy. After that, we shared simple tips for daily life.
Stay calm. Breathe.
Don't react quickly. Listen with care. Use kind and clear words. Say what you feel in a polite way. Set boundaries. Say no if you need to. Walk away if the situation becomes too negative. We even practice some useful phrases like, I understand how you feel, and I don't feel comfortable with this. These short sentences are powerful. They help you express yourself clearly, without being rude. They show others that you are respectful, but strong. They remind you that you can be calm and confident at the same time. And then we listened to a story about Sarah. She didn't lose her temper. She didn't change who she was. She simply stayed calm, used kind words, and set boundaries. Over time, even the difficult person began to change. So, here's the most important thing I want you to remember. You cannot control other people, but you can control your response. This is where your true power is. You don't have to join someone else's storm. You can choose to stay in your peace. You can be the calm voice in the middle of noise. Dealing with difficult people is not something you are born knowing how to do. It is a skill. And like any skill, it gets easier with practice. So please, don't feel bad if it's hard at first. Be patient with yourself. Every time you stay calm, you grow stronger. Every time you speak kindly, you build confidence. Every time you choose not to take it personally, you protect your peace. Stay kind. Stay calm. Stay confident. You are not weak for being gentle. You are wise for choosing peace over anger. And control, not with emotion. This practice can really help you see something important. It shows you how strong and calm you can be, even when other people are not. When you choose peace instead of anger, you are not letting the other person win.
No.
You are winning by protecting your own mind, your own heart, and your own mood. Even if the situation feels uncomfortable at first, remind yourself of this truth. You are not responsible for other people's behavior. You are only responsible for your own response. And that is where your power is. Now let's go back and remember the helpful phrases we learned. These are small but powerful tools you can carry with you every day. Say them out loud when you are alone. Repeat them slowly and clearly. I understand how you feel. Can we talk about this later? I don't feel comfortable with this. Let's stay calm and talk nicely. These simple sentences are respectful. They are calm. They are clear. They help you express yourself without sounding rude or angry. Try saying them in front of a mirror, or record your voice and listen back. Practicing out loud will build your confidence. And the more you practice, the more natural these words will feel in real situations. If you found today's episode helpful, please share it with someone you care about, a friend, a classmate, or a family member. Maybe they are also struggling with difficult people. Maybe these tips could help them, too. And remember, you can always listen to this episode again during the week. Every time you listen, you will understand something a little deeper. Every time you listen, you will feel a little stronger. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I truly appreciate your presence, and I admire your willingness to grow, to learn, and to improve yourself. You are not alone in this journey. All around the world, many people are learning, just like you, how to stay strong and kind even in hard moments. So take this challenge. Practice your phrases, and believe in your ability to handle tough situations with calm and confidence. Keep learning, keep practicing,
And keep shining.
until next time, stay calm, stay kind, and stay proud of yourself. You're doing a wonderful job. I'll be here again soon with more support and encouragement. Take care, and goodbye for now.